All praises and honor give to Mudimu, the creator of all things. Welcome to my channel. My name is Brother Moapare. I'd like to welcome all Bantu people in Southern Africa and all those in the diaspora. Okay, so we continue with our second session. Okay. All right, I would like to, like previously I promised you that I will be doing, showing you Enochs Calendar, okay? So this is the calendar, the Enochs Calendar, all right? So, excuse me. Now, as you know, we're going to be reading some few scriptures, okay? So, but this is Enochs Calendar. Okay, the first part, I mentioned the first, second, and third part, okay? So in the first part, there are 4 months, second part 4 months, third part 4 months. Okay, so the first part in this it's month number 4, the first month, the 4th month, the 7th month, and the 10th month. Okay, all right. So if we go to I believe it's Exodus chapter 7. If we can quickly just go. Excuse me, it's Exodus chapter 12. Here we read, "This month shall be unto you the beginning of month. It shall be the first month of the year to you." Okay, so this was the Lord speaking to Moses, unto and Aaron in the land of Egypt, unto the children of Israel. Okay, so this is the first month that I have highlighted. Okay, with the yellow highlighter. Okay. So the first, 4th, 7th, and 10th, these are the months of the first part, and these months constitute the beginning of a new season. Okay, so and in the beginning of the new season, it constitutes a feast day celebration marking the beginning of the new season. So these are the so-called moons, okay, or months. So in the Setswana Bantu language, and no wonder they are called kgwedi kana moons. So kgwedi in Setswana, moon in Setswana is kgwedi, kana ngwedi. Okay, months will be dingwedi if there are many. Okay, if it's just a month, it will be ngwedi. Okay, so that is no wonder they are called that. But I want you to check this thing out. Okay, if you look at the Setswana year. Okay, if you look at this book, it talks about the Setswana culture. Okay, now let's look at what it says. Okay, this book, it's written by Komotso Mogapi, and it's titled Ngwao ya Setswana, meaning the culture of the Setswana people. Okay, now it talks about this winter season. Of course, it's a book that was talking about the seasons in Setswana, so they are named after the events. Okay, so it says Maricha. Okay, so the Maricha, or in Setswana, means Madicha or Maricha. It's just the same thing. It means that the fall. So winter is the true fall, because this is where the time when the leaves, during winter time, the leaves have fallen from the trees. Okay, so it says eke paka ya bofelo ya ngwaga wa Setswana. Okay, it's very important to know that, to highlight that. So translated as, this is the last season of the Setswana year. Okay, so we should be able to, we should understand that winter is the last season, okay, in the Setswana year. When the Edomites came and conquered us, they made us to rhyme, summer, autumn, winter, spring, summer, autumn, winter, spring. This rhyme, it was dislodging, the true timing for us. Okay. So while we were singing summer, autumn, winter, spring, summer, autumn, winter, spring, so the beginning of the year must be spring, summer, autumn, and the last season being winter. Okay, it's not supposed to be the other way, around. So it's supposed to be spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Okay, so according to Homotso Mohapi, ngwao ya Setswana, culture of the Botswana people, okay, it's supposed to be winter is the last season. Now, in the future, presentation, we'll be discussing also what the word Botswana means. Okay, just to quickly mention it, when we say Ba, if you have studied the so-called Paleo Hebrew, okay, Ba means a house or a tent, and then Tswa, it's a cross with a circle in it. It represents a mark. So Tswa means a mark or marked. And when you say na in Setswana, it means a seed. Na will be a seed. As in nawa. Okay, nawa is, as you know, it's a it's a it's a bin. Okay, it's a bin. It represents the seed. So when we say ba tswa na, okay, this means it's a house that contains the seed that is marked. Okay, so we spoke about the circumcision, where Abraham was commanded, our forefather Abraham was commanded to circumcise the males in his household. Okay, so excuse me, in Setswana there is a proverb that says molao go tsena wa thupa, means that the law of God, or rather, to translate it in a better fashion, it means that the law of God will prevail, or the law of God will prevails. Okay, so molao go tsena wa thupa. Okay, so this is what it means by circumcision. So other similar but loosely translations could be that you spare the rod, you spoil the child. But in this case, these people then are a marked seed. Okay, this Botswana, Basotho, this Bantu tribe, they are the children of Israel. Okay, I just wanted to refer you to the season here. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so we're back at Exodus chapter 12. Okay, and the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Okay, so now that we know that in Setswana, sequencing of the years, that winter is the last. So we now know that June, July, August, okay, this is winter, the last season. So what happens? Then New Year begins on the 1st of September. Okay, so if you go back to our what do you call it? To our the Enochs Calendar, or the true calendar, as we're looking here, then this yellow cell, a feast day celebration marking the beginning of the new season. Okay, so this is September. Okay, so the first month is September. Okay, so now we know that on the fourth day, okay, of the creation, really the fourth day of the creation, then this is where the dividing of the light and darkness was happening. So check this out. Okay, Genesis chapter 1. Okay, we are reading verse 14. From verse 14, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. Okay, let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made stars also, and God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the night and over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Okay, so that's why I was saying that if you look at Enochs Calendar, so we see that on the fourth day, okay, of the first month, obviously, this was a Wednesday, okay, and so on the seventh day, okay, this is what God. Okay, verse 3, Genesis chapter 2. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. Okay, so this is the seventh day. Maybe we should have started in verse 2. And verse 2 says, and on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. Okay, so this was when the seventh day was marked, okay, as the Sabbath day. Okay, so I want to impress upon your mind that on the first day of the month, the first, fifth, fourth, seventh, and 10th, okay, these are the seasons, okay, so it marks the seasons. So we'll be reading in Jubilees so that we can understand and see what was happening. Okay, so now in the and I want to discuss the fact that on the first and on the seventh, to highlight the fact that on the first and on the seventh, the mouth of the abyss, okay, were opened. Okay, very, very important. So when they are opening, this are the what? This is, you see, there is the first rains in September. Okay, this constitutes the first rains, and then around March, this the latter rains. Okay, so we this also is to do with it's very, very important to understand that as we read in Jubilees. And so let's check out my calendar, and we read those scriptures there so that we get an understanding. So the moons, okay, they're just Sabbaths, okay, and these moons, they are celebrations of feasts. And so we see some deception where people are, half a moon is a celebration, and a quarter of a moon is another celebration. So that's paganism, and that's a lie. Okay, so all the moons, all the feasts, they're just Sabbath. So they are just in alignment. Okay, so that's how simple it is. And so let's get to the scriptures and get an understanding of this. So if you look at my calendar, I have marked the fact that September 2021 was the new year. September the 1st, 2021 was the new year. So this is the new year. And then this is during this month, it is spring. So September, October, November, it's spring. In Setswana, this is called dikgakologo, kana dikgakololo. This is where the melting part happens just after winter. So this is spring, okay? So and we're gonna see that This is September, and then December the 1st, it was Selemo. Okay, this is also the planting time. Okay, where it's hot and humid. So this is the planting, season. So December, January, February will be the summertime. Okay, and then you have then you will have March, April, May will constitute August. So this is the harvest time. Okay, so if you look at the this time, then you will have, it makes sense to have feast of ingathering. Why? Because you are now harvesting. Okay, so you are giving we are observing that, because this is the harvest time. This is autumn, the harvest time. Okay, so we also then will have June, July, August. So that being the last season of the Setswana year. Now, if you look at the interestingly, these are they have 13 weeks apart. Okay, maybe let's just dive in and read through what it says in Jubilees. Okay, because this is very, very important. I'm gonna be reading, and hopefully I will read, and so you get an understanding of what the Lord is saying to us here. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is spring. So for spring, for summer, autumn, and winter, okay, this new seasons, okay, we're gonna learn about the how Noah, how they related with to Noah. Okay, this is Jubilees chapter 6, verse 23 to 35. Verse 23, and on the new moon of the first month, and on the new moon of the fourth month, and on the new moon of the seventh month, and on the new moon of the 10th month are the days of remembrance, and the days of the seasons in the 4 divisions of the year. These are written and ordained as a testimony forever. Okay, and Noah ordained them for himself as feasts for the generations forever, so that they have become thereby a memorial unto him. And on the new moon of the first month, and he was bidden to make for himself an ark, and on that day the earth became dry, and he opened the ark and saw the earth. And on the new moon of the 4th month, the mouths of the depths of the abyss beneath were closed. Okay, so notice that on the new moon of the verse 26, on the new moon of the 4th month, the mouths of the depths of the abyss beneath were closed. So it doesn't rain, okay, on that month. But notice that on the new moon of the 1st and on the new moon of the 7th, the mouths of the abyss are open. So this is the first rains, and September, and then on around March is the second, or the latter rains, if you like. Okay, let's continue. And on the new moon of the first month, he was bidden to make for himself an ark, and on that day the earth became dry, and he opened the ark and saw the earth. And on the new moon of the 4th month, the mouths of the depths of the abyss beneath were closed. And on the new moon of the 7th month, all the mouths of the abysses of the earth were open, and the waters began to descend onto them. Okay, and on the new moon of the 10th, excuse me, we are at verse 27. And on the new moon of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen, and Noah was glad. And on this account he ordained them for himself as feasts, a memorial forever. And thus are they ordained. And they placed them on the heavenly tablets. Each had 13 weeks from one another past their memorial, from the first to the second, and from the second to the third, and from the third to the fourth. Okay. And all the days of the commandments will be 250 weeks of days, and this will make the entire year complete. Thus it is engraven and ordained on the heavenly tablets, and there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year or from year to year. And command thou the children of Israel that they observe the years according to this reckoning 364 days, and these will constitute a complete year, and they will not disturb its time from its days and from its feasts, for everything will fall out in them according to their testimony, and they will not leave out any day nor disturb any feasts, but if they do neglect and do not observe them according to his commandment, then they will disturb all their seasons, and the years will be dislodged from this order, and they will disturb the seasons, and the years will be dislodged, and they will neglect their ordinances. And all the children of Israel will forget and will not find the path of the years, and will forget the new moons and seasons and Sabbath, and they will go wrong as to all the order of the years. For I know, and from henceforth will I declare it unto thee, and it is not of my own devising, for the books lies written before me, and on the heavenly tablets the divisions of days is ordained, lest they forget the feasts of the covenant, and walk according to the feasts of the Gentiles, after their error and after their ignorance. Okay, so in today's so-called fake, Jews who are fake, see, they keep on adding the 13th month, 1810. Okay, exactly what the warning that is given here. Okay, because for them they are looking at maybe the moons, observing it's full moon, it's half moon, it's all these other things. Okay, which is really wrong. But here we are taught how things should be. So, like as I was saying, if you look at the 1st of September, when spring begins, okay, September, October, November, and then December. So there are 13 weeks apart, as it said, okay, from December, January, February. If you get to March, okay, so this is where we it's interesting. So in March, 13 weeks also, then from March to June. Okay, so these are 13 weeks apart. Okay, so and then, like, if you look at the holidays, so these are the holidays where we observe the moons. And if you look at this my Enochs calendar, the true Enochs calendar, so you see that everything is in alignment, so that on this yellow cell of the first day of the month, the first month, the fourth month, the seventh month, and the 10th month, these are the months of when the new seasons begins. And this is a feast, marked as feasts, to celebrate, to give gratitude to the new season, okay, if you like. And so I noticed that it's an extended, Sabbath. So when the year is complete and you have to start again, you see that from the previous year, you will have a Saturday, which is the Sabbath day, okay? And then you will then have an extended celebration, okay? So it's just, so this moons and the Sabbath, they are just Sabbaths also, but it's just, only that it's an extension, okay? Everything is in perfect order, okay? So that these are statutes. No one can change what God has marked. Okay, you can't erase what God has marked. Huh? So the Edomites tried to do so. So that is why we were reading previously Daniel chapter 7 verse 25, that this beast, he will think to change the law of the Sabbath and the times. But really you can't. Okay, so we can see that this is in perfect alignment. So all right, let's continue. Okay, so this is Britannia. Okay, it's talking about what is the difference between a solstice and an equinox. Okay, this is what it says. You may know that the solstice and equinox signal the changing of the seasons on earth, but do you remember which is which? Are they just different names for the same thing? Actually, a solstice and an equinox are sort of opposites. Okay, so that's what we are learning, that these are the opposite. Okay, so you look at the seasons on Earth change because the planet is slightly tilted on its axis as it travels around the sun. This means different points on Earth receive more or less sunlight at different times of the year. If Earth were not tilted, the sun will always appear to be directly above the Earth equator. The amount of light a given location receives will be fixed, and there will be no seasons. There also will be no need to mark equinoxes or solstices. So notice that I said, if you look at especially the September the 23rd, okay, this is where it's one of the holidays, or the true holidays, because and if also March, okay, this is one of the other holiday days, especially this paragraph that says the equinoxes happen in March. Okay, they're saying about March 21st, and in September about September 23rd, and these are the true holidays. Now if we follow the beast system, they are celebrating not equinoxes, but they follow the solstices, because if we are celebrating this January, if you look at the December around the 23rd, or this remember, these are sun worshippers. Okay, they're worshiping the day of the sun. So they say that the true solstices happen in June. So they're talking about around 20 or 21st in June, and December 21st and to the 22nd. Okay, so remember this so-called Christmas marked on that particular time. And also you see that throughout the celebrations up to the 31st, okay, that week, it's a pagan holiday, okay, if you like, up to they have this January the 31st, they're marking their new year and all that. Okay, so we have all been deceived and we have all been there. But if you look at according to the scriptures, we should be looking at the equinoxes, okay, which happens around March the 1st and September the 21st. Okay, what are they? These are the days when the sun is exactly above the equator, which makes day and night of equal length. Okay, very, very important. Excuse me. So if you look at the Enochs calendar, then you see I have highlighted with light blue, okay, from the 14th to the 22nd. So on the first month, which is September, there is that Passover. Okay, if you look at the 14th is the Passover, and we're going to be reading scriptures on that. And then you can see that before the Passover, on the 10th, the orange cell is the Day of Atonement. And we can see even here that from the Day of Atonement was on the 10th, and this Day of Atonement, after 3 days, okay, on the 11th, the 12th, the 13th, okay, this was after 3 days. And on the Sabbath morning, okay, after 3 days, there was the Sabbath, and that's where the Lord, rose up. So we can clearly see all this thing. And then there is the whole week of celebration. So this is September. We celebrate on that. But let's go. I want to go to the scriptures so that we can read these things. Okay. So so we see here then that on the first part of this 364 days, or which constitute a year, on the months of 4th, 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th. Okay, this like as I said earlier on, it's the marks the seasons, okay, 13 weeks apart, okay. So we can see, then we can then learn that on the 10th, which was the Day of Atonement, okay. So on the 10th, which was the Day of Atonement, we're going to read the scriptures also that will verify and confirm what we are saying. So so our Lord was then crucified on the 10th, okay. So this should be the 7th month, okay. So this is the 7th month, on the which is if you notice, this was a Day of Atonement on the 9th hour, okay. It's very important to learn that it was on the 9th hour, okay. The day, according to the day was starting at 6 p.m, okay. So this was when the time when the day was starting. And then on the 9th hour at 3 p.m, our Lord was crucified. Why is it the 9th hour? It's because you will start from 6 a.m, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. So that's 9 hours on the 9th hour, okay. So the celebrations of the Sabbath, it starts from normally to be the evening of Friday 6 p.m, okay. To is even the celebrations are from evening to evening, so we can mark the Sabbaths starting in that evening, okay. So there's now not so much fussy about remember, the Sabbath is meant for men, not meant for the Sabbath, okay. So if you are doing good during that particular time, you see, it's not as my yoke is easy, the Lord will say. You see, not where we go back to this religious sects where people are, hey, it's they are fasting, they are doing all kinds of things. In fact, Sabbath are meant for celebrations, okay, not so the fasting, technically there is a one appointed time for fasting, which is the Day of the Atonement, okay. So we can see then that the okay, after 3 days, on the 14th, then was when he resurrected. But okay, so let's go to the scriptures and read. I want us to read we're gonna read through the Passover celebration and the scripture, so that you can also go and read the scriptures yourself. All right, so I think we'll just pause here, okay, and then we'll continue on another session, as we are going to now get into the scriptures and study the scriptures together, as we see that all the Sabbaths, if you obey the Sabbath day, it's fine. It suffices to to know that if you're reading the scriptures, if you're observing the seventh day, which we call it the Saturday, this you are observing the Sabbath. And remember, it's also a feast, okay. So that's no wonder I was highlighting Mukibelo, that's the day of Mokete, where you celebrate, okay. These are for celebration and feasting, okay. So thank you so much, my brothers and sisters, and as we learn together in this series. All right, okay, take care.